Hey guys, my name is Jay. In this game introduction series, I'll quickly go over key highlight points to help you understand what the game is all about. Today's game is Cadence of Hyrule. Feel free to skip to whichever sections of the videos as shown on the timestamps in the video description, and also keep in mind I've tried to make this introduction as spoiler free as possible so that you guys can still enjoy the game as much as possible. Let's begin. Cadence of Hyrule is a 1-2 player, rhythm-based roguelike adventure. Released for Nintendo Switch, it is rated E for everyone, and costs $25 as of when this video was written. Finally, the average gameplay time is 6 hours if played casually, and 9 hours if 100% completion. Here's a quick summary. The setting is in Kingdom of Hyrule, and a villain named Octavo uses a magical lute to put everyone in Hyrule, including Link and Zelda, to sleep. The Cadence, the main protagonist in Crypt of the Necrodancer, is transported to the Hyrule by the Triforce and wakes up Link or Zelda, which is your choice to pick one. Then either Link or Zelda goes on their quest to defeat Octavo and his 4 champions. Since this is a Zelda series, you can't really forget about certain someone, which I won't spoil here. And that's up for you to figure out how the rest of the story unfolds and play it for yourself, or watch my Let's Play. The significant portion of the game's mechanic is based on the original game Crypt of the Necrodancer, or rhythmic combat system. Whenever you are in a room with enemies, the rhythmic bar appears at the bottom that moves towards the center. As the bars are at the center, or simply as the song hits every downbeat, you can move or use the item. To attack, you move onto the square tile that has an enemy on it for some point of damage depending on the equipped items. As you get better at the game, you can telegraph most of the enemy's attack because they'll all follow their own unique movement and attack patterns. Just as a side note, when you do move, monsters will also move or attack to the same rhythm. As you perform a successful rhythmic attack without missing a beat, you'll be rewarded by gaining multipliers as shown by the shining Triforce. Multipliers allow you to gain more rupees, diamonds, or damage in some instances. With more rupees or diamonds, you can buy better items to help you survive and get stronger. If you miss a beat, move at a wrong beat, or don't perform any action at all, you'll get something called missed beat and lose multiplier as well. Note that if you do get a missed beat, monsters will still perform their actions such as moving and attacking. However, note that sometimes it is actually beneficial to get a missed beat on some occasions, such as when you're surrounded and have nowhere else to go, or if you just need to think what to do next. Also, whenever there's no monsters around, you can move as fast as you please without having to be regulated by the music as done in combat. If you die, you'll be respawned at the Fates room where you can select where you'd like to fast travel to using the travel points called Sheikah Stone that you touch throughout the exploration. As you die, the majority of the basic items with the exception of the key items will be lost as well as the rupees, so those need to be obtained again. However, diamonds are accumulated throughout the whole run and will not be lost, so those can be used to purchase extra items in the shops or to imbue weapons to make you stronger by the Great Fairy. Finally, to heal your character, you can either obtain a heart container, touch Sheikah Stone, cut down grass or kill enemies for heart pieces, or use bottle to catch fairies/fish, or make potions at the fortune teller shop. You uncover a map in a screen-by-screen fashion just like the classic Zelda series. The map is procedurally generated per save file. In other words, each time a new save file is made, the world map will be randomly generated to that specific save file. But that map will always remain the same even if you restart the game or die. To help with the exploration of the map, you can obtain few key items to help label the map for easier exploration. These items can help label mini-bosses, chests, mini-dungeons, shops, etc. in the map. Also, as you explore more, you can notice some trivial puzzle elements to be able to get to some areas for chests or dungeons. The puzzles are not as challenging as the original series, but it is definitely a cherry on top to the Cadence of Hyrule that makes the game very reminiscent to the original series. There are a total of 5 main dungeons and 1 small mini dungeon which are analogous to the temples in the Legend of Zelda series. You'll have basic keys as well as the boss key to find within the dungeon to insert it into the locked doors. At the end of the dungeon, you'll be faced with the boss. Again, just like the Zelda series, for some of the dungeons, you'll need to obtain certain key items to traverse through the dungeons. You can also find shops throughout Hyrule and its dungeons. As you get closer to the shopkeeper, you can faintly hear his singing on the map. Some shops are obviously out in the open, while some are hidden inside a breakable wall. Blow through the breakable wall and you'll be able to enter the shop and buy some items for rupees or diamonds. Also by default, whenever you die, you'll have an access to the death shop that sells mostly basic equipable items and sometimes permanent items such as heart container. You can choose to turn this death shop option off at the gameplay option for a more difficult playthrough. You play the majority of the game as either Link or Zelda and few other unique unlockable characters that I won't spoil here, each with their own unique abilities. In brief, Link uses a short sword for swing and spin attack and shield to block or reflect attacks that cost some stamina. And Zelda is equipped with the default dagger and the eventual special range weapon to counter or reflect a blow, or provide a projectile attack. You can technically beat the game using a default dagger only, but it will cause you a significant challenge without the stronger or better weapon. There are tons of different weapons, each with specific unique attack capabilities, and there are also separate attack modifiers as well. I'll explain only the basic weapons and the modifiers to assist you in progressing the game. However, if you want to play this game for yourself and want to find out each weapon's capabilities on your own, feel free to skip this part of the video. So there are a short sword or dagger, which attacks for 1 damage for 1 range tile, broadsword, which attacks for 1 damage for 3 adjacent tile in front, spear, attack for 1 damage for 2 range tile in front, and flail, which does 1 damage to a single enemy in a wide range and moves you forward at the same time. Also, there are modifiers to infuse into the weapons by the Great Fairies, which are titanium, increases the weapon damage by 1, emerald, causes poison damage, ruby, drains enemies' health, obsidian, increases the damage based on the current active multiplier, and glass, which increases the damage by 2 but breaks upon taking a hit. Finally, there are unique weapons to the Legend of Zelda series such as bombs, bomb chew, boomerang, bottle, etc. that serves as the same or similar function as the original Zelda series. You can expect to find these weapons at dungeons, shop, finishing minigames, digging through dirt, or opening chests. Oh, and also you can try the classic minigames such as bomb chew bowling or archery range with a few rupees, and you'll obtain some reward item as you do well in the minigames. There are other optional modes such as fixed beat mode, which removes the need to play with the music and turning the game into a turn-based strategy. No other enemies will perform their action until you move or use items. This is a great mode for those who have difficult time playing this game and need some practice to learn enemies' pattern. As you get better at telegraphing enemies' attack, you can try turning off the fixed beat mode to see how well you do. There's also permadeath mode, which challenges the player to play through the game without dying. You can also play co-op local multiplayer. If either player dies, the other player can travel to Sheikah Stone to revive their partner anytime. There's also a daily challenge mode in which all the players play the one same map to see who gets the highest score in the leaderboard with 1 life. Unlike the Crypt of the Necrodancer, the Cadence of Hyrule is actually way less punishing and very balanced to optimal entertainment. As you explore more of the map, you'll find more heart containers and will eventually have excess amount so that you can almost get hit tons and still be okay. By the mid-early game, you'll have an access to the bottle with fairies or potions that heals you for excess amount of health or full health. And also you'll have an access to better and stronger weapons as well. In addition, because of the excess diamond that you'll accumulate, you'll always restock immediately at Death Shop or other shop as well. As you die more, you'll also be able to understand enemies' pattern a bit more for a sturdier fight. And the worst case scenario, if you really need to take a pause to understand what's going on, just turn on the fixed beat mode and take as much time as you need. Ultimately, I think that this game is appropriate even if you're not familiar with the rhythm game. Sure, you might have a difficult time earlier on with the feel of the game and you might not have enough heart containers and weaker weapon, but about like 30 minutes or an hour, you'll be able to beat enemies left and right and think that this isn't that bad. For my final verdict, I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. I would give about 8 out of 10 magical loot. For the positive, I thought it was a fantastic mashup of the Crypt of the Necrodancer in conjunction with the good old classic Legend of Zelda series, with the appropriate use of familiar items such as bombs, hookshot, bow, etc. that complements well with the rhythmic combat mechanics. Also, I think the difficulty was appropriate. It was way less punishing than the original Crypt of the Necrodancer, and there's multiple ways to make the game much easier. While this is a short game, randomly generated map and other gaming modes allow roguelike element, and there's obviously amazing artwork and music included. And as for the negatives, for the puzzle, I thought it was too trivial and superficial at times. It's just moving blocks and being able to get to a certain point by just thinking about it critically. It would have been really cool to incorporate like some unique elements. Remember like the Goron City, you have to throw the into the jar, big jar. Or like the Deku Sprout, which says the order is 231, 23 is number 1, and you're like, what does this mean? And you later figure out that's. But I was like, wow, that took me a while for me to figure out. You know, like those things, it's not a big thing, but it uses some kind of creativity instead of just moving the blocks around. It might get repetitive at times. There might be just enough monsters to keep you going, but if you play it for several more hours, you're like, oh, Moblin again, you know? So for me, it was okay. As for the exploration, I thought this is a small thing, but for the key items that let you mark on the map, you can't really see if they're done or not, except for the main dungeons. You can see a check mark. But for chests and other puzzles or mini dungeons, you really can't see if you visit or not. There isn't a way for you to do a separate check mark, and you just forget. So it gets a little bit annoying towards the end. Perhaps they could include in-game option to make the game music a bit quicker. As I got better at the game, it got a little bit more annoying to kill all the repetitive enemies. It gets somewhat frustrating to not be able to move freely and be restricted by the music. I just want to keep pressing left to go all the way left. I guess, yeah, you can turn on the fixed beat mode, but I just didn't want to do that. I wish there was like a game option that you can just increase the tempo. So who would enjoy this game more? Those people who love Zelda series, Crypto the Necrodancer, and a short, aesthetically satisfying rhythm game with some adventure aspects, such as finding new spoils to advance the game. Who would not enjoy this game? Basically everything opposite what I just said. And those people who are not keen to new rhythm combat mechanics to get used to, and maybe will get too critical of Zelda series because this game primarily emphasizes the mechanics of the Crypt of the Necrodancer and less of the Zelda series. Thus, if you're not going to appreciate trivial puzzles and other Legend of Zelda things that are not portrayed accurately, then maybe this isn't for you. Thanks for watching, guys. As for my shameless plug, feel free to visit my Twitch channel to interact with me live as I play video games and chat. Oh my god, what was I thinking? Is it like the same concept as Asgore? Oh my god. Oh, I can't believe I dodged that. Was I supposed to do that? I don't know, I should have refused? God damn it.